Hello everyone, so my name is Lisa Jett. Sorry, I'm sick. But yeah, so man, how do I start this video? Okay, so let me clarify some things. I am a college student. Oh my god, I cannot believe I'm saying that right now. I still can't believe it, even though I did the first semester of it. Still can't believe I'm part of it. But yeah, so that is also another reason why I actually have not been posting much, because usually I'm pretty good at posting, but because life and college and just stuff has been happening, like, oh my god, I feel like I'm a grandmother at this point. Like, so much has happened that's why I have not been able to post as much, which I try to post as consistently as possible, because that's how YouTube works. And also I just in general love making YouTube videos. Like, that's kind of one of my hobbies, and one of my pastimes I like to do is create videos for you guys, because it's just really fun, and I think it's awesome to do it. And also, like, my whole goal for my YouTube channel is just to make people happy, and to make some rawness, if that makes sense, like to not be like your typical channel on YouTube. Try to be kind of more unique, kind of more honest, be more kind of real when it comes to topics, and when it comes to things that people want to talk about and people want to share, and may not completely be comfortable in sharing. So, and obviously I make other videos, not only those type of videos, but that's like what mainly I focus on, and mainly what I like to talk about. But I also like to game and make music videos, because I'm a music major, which we will talk about that soon. So yeah, sorry, that's just a little bit of an introduction to what I'm talking about. So basically this video is about I'm in college, and kind of basically just kind of talk about what that is, and kind of talk about how I survived the first semester of college, and how I'm gonna survive this upcoming semester, because I'm actually going this Wednesday on the 11th, January 11th. So, which I will also make another video after this semester is done, because I'm probably not gonna be able to make a video, or probably be able to post during the semester either, which I wanted to last semester, but stuff. So I'm probably going to do it after that semester, and just kind of sum up how my second semester was, and just in general how how it is to being a freshman in college, because that is who I am. I am a freshman in college in university. What is this? So yeah, so I don't know, obviously I have not uploaded it just yet, but which I will upload it. I think I'm trying to upload it right now, actually, or today, whenever these videos come out. But yeah, and so I made a video basically like before before I had to go to university, and it was basically just kind of just like a relaxed video, kind of just reminiscing on life, and kind of preparing myself to go to university, but also having a little bit of fun before I go to university, and having a little bit of fun with you guys. And so it's kind of more of a chill video, it's a gaming video, stuff like that. And I also put in the description like, oh yeah, I'm in college, baby, yeah. So yeah, well, this video, so that's just more of like a fun video, more of a celebratory video. Well, this video is kind of more explaining how it is being a college student, and how I survived the first semester of college, and just how it is in general to be in university, because I know a lot of people want to go to university, or have questions about university, or just in general, it's like, well, what is the American university, how does the American college system works, that thing, which I'm still learning as well. So it's definitely a very different system, especially because I'm homeschooled, or online school, so COVID didn't really affect me all that much, which is a different story for a different time. But you get it. Like, I'm pretty used to like being on Blackboard, and which we actually do have to use in university, which I will talk about later in this video as well. But yeah, so like for me, I'm definitely used to being online, being kind of by myself, doing my work by myself, and kind of just being by myself, and being at home, and being in the comfort of my own space. So it's definitely very different to be sitting in a classroom with an actual instructor, or like a physical instructor telling me what to do. Because in online schooling, or like what I did for like elementary, middle school, and high school, I had an instructor. It's just it was all through Zoom / through the computer. So it's definitely very different from having teachers, which I've had physical teachers before, because I am a musician, or that's kind of what I've been wanting to do my whole life. That's kind of what I've been working on, like most of my childhood, and through my adultery. And that's also another reason why I'm a music major, is because, well, I've just done it my whole life, so I don't know what else I would do as a major. So yeah, so that's kind of why I'm a music major. And I also just personally love music, and people who don't like this is like a side note, but people who don't like music seriously don't have a soul. Like, I feel like everyone that I've talked to, especially people who are non-musicians, they've done some type of musical thing, or listened to some type of musical structure, or musical phrase, or just piece or song in general. So yeah, so music is everywhere, and why not take advantage of that, right? But yeah, and so basically I've just always wanted to be a musician, and I've always wanted to go to college, and I've always wanted to play in film orchestra, which, by the way, everyone is asking me, like, what do you want to do, what is your major exactly, like, all that stuff, which, I don't know, my profession is very interesting. It's a very unique profession, just because so I want to do violin performance, which, to kind of break that down, violin performance is basically, you're a violinist, or for example, you're an instrumentalist. You play an instrument, and you perform in front of other people. So like, your whole profession is just performing, or just kind of showcasing your skill set. So like playing in restaurants, for example, or playing in concert halls, or playing in orchestras. That's even considered like performance, because anything that has to do with like showcasing your skill set as a musician, that is considered performance, and you get paid that way, which is really cool. I love it, and I just in general love the stage, and it's just kind of my home personally. So yeah, and I've also been around so many musicians in my lifetime and in my childhood, so I've just always knew that music is what it's at. And so as a profession, I'm kind of more of and I mean, you guys have definitely, if you guys watched me for a while, you know that, I'm a musician, and that's kind of who I am, and that's what, like, the world that I want to be in. And like, in front of you guys, that's like another practice to my profession. That's another practice of my skill set and becoming a better musician. Like, anything that has to do with performance and has to like performing for other people, like, that's just me getting better and better and better. And yeah, and so I'm more of an I'm like a more group-oriented musician, orchestral musician. I like playing solo stuff. That's fun too. Like, that's great. But for me personally, I'm more of an orchestral person. I like more like group music, because group music, in my opinion, is really, really interesting and really fascinating, and it's just different pieces, or different like moving arcs mixed together, or like combined together. And I think that's like the coolest thing that you can do with music, specifically with sound, because when you're playing an instrument, or when you're singing, or when you're doing anything where you like perform or produce music, you're basically producing sound. And so I just think putting different type of colors of sound and different type of sounds together is always so interesting and so cool, and it's just like, why wouldn't you be part of it, right? And yeah, and so because of that, I also love film. I'm really into all the anime, which I'm actually still new to anime, but I really do like it, and Marvel and all that stuff. I'm just very kind of nerdy when it comes to film, and when it comes to music, of course, but especially when it comes to film. I'm just a nerdy person in general, if you can tell. Like, I'm a very, very nerdy person. um and I mean, obviously, you guys know that I like anime, or if you've watched me for a while, because I've made a couple of anime videos, which some of you have hated me on, so I'm so sorry, but like, I like it, okay? Don't shut up. But yeah, and so because of that, I would love to play. I would love to be a film orchestra, to do film orchestra, specifically studio musician. So playing for all the, playing for all the films, blockbuster films, indie films, just whatever is, on screen. Like, that would be so cool to me. And I've always wanted to be a studio musician, and also not many people want to be a studio musician, or like, it's not, like, I don't really hear many people talking about it. And so that's also another reason why I want to do it, because it's, not many people talk about it, not many people, like, shed light on it. And, every film and everything needs some sort of sound, and, music is sound, and film is an incredible art form, and music is an incredible art form, so why not combine it together? And I don't know, I think that's so special, personally. And I also think that music really creates the atmosphere, and creates film, and creates the story. Maybe it's not spoken in word, for example, like that type of art form, like writing or, acting, but it still expresses emotion, it still expresses, it still expresses what the story is trying to, showcase. So I think that's really special, and I would love to be part of that. But yeah, and so I'm back to college. Sorry, I kind of diverted a little bit. But yeah, and so just my whole high school life. I mean, kind of middle school life, but more high school life. I've been okay. Well, let me break this down. So, elementary, I've kind of knew, like, I mean, I've always wanted to go to university. Like, that was never a question of like, if am I gonna go to university, am I not, or etc. Right? Not like, do I want to be a graduate student? I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know if I want to. I mean, it would be cool, but I also don't know. But we'll see about that. But I've always, and in general, I kind of don't, like, it's kind of one of those things, like, okay, I'm in university, yay, finally, but now what am I going to do after? Am I going to go straight to my profession, or am I going to do some more colleging, some more of my education? Like, what do I want to do? Because I still think I can definitely keep working on my art, for sure, but I also don't know, like, because I still don't know if I'm completely ready yet to get into my profession, or if I should be like a graduate student or something like that. So, and I also, like, am that type of person. I love school. Like, I am a school person. I love education. I love all that stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know if I want to, want to be until my 30s or 40s still in school and then finally go to my profession. Or, I don't know. That part I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out, like, what I want to, like, what my next steps after university is. Just because I've always pictured myself in university, so now how am I gonna, after I do university, or after I finish my undergraduate degree, if I will go into a graduate program or associate program, or just go straight ahead to my profession, So that part I'm still trying to figure out. So, yeah, but anyway, back to my original point. I always wanted to, or like, so when I was elementary, I knew that I wanted to go to university, and I, like thought, being in university was so cool and was so mature and so like awesome and really just, credible thing to accomplish. So I'm just like, yeah, I definitely want to do it. But it wasn't necessarily something that was constantly in my mind until I got into more like late middle school, early high school. And then when I got more into like late middle school, early high school, but more into high school, I was just like, okay, I really need to go into university because like everyone's like, okay, what is your next steps after high school is going to be? And I'm like, how are you going to, be as an adult? Because that's, pretty scary thing. And it's a pretty scary thing to think about, but, you do have to think about it, right? Because like, what are you going to do after high school? Like, so yeah, and so I'm just like, okay, I need to think about this. I need to think about this because like I've been saying I want to go, but I never acted on it. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna act on it. And so basically, and also I'm just like, yeah, wait a second, how am I gonna pay for it too? Because like we're definitely wealthy, but we're not the wealthiest people. And also I don't know, for me especially, like I really am like more of a family oriented person and I love my family and, I definitely, you know, want to be my own person and, I kind of know that we're not in the best, wealthiest financial standpoint, and I don't want to do that to my mom. So I was also just like, okay, wait a second, scholarships? So, and yeah, and so that whole time period, I was really looking for scholarships and really looking for like how am I gonna pay for it, and also like trying to figure out what colleges I want to go to, because there were colleges I definitely wanted or universities that I definitely wanted to go to. I just didn't know if we would have enough to go to it, and also like what would be the best standpoint. And also for me, I've always wanted to go to Juilliard, and I've always wanted to go to like an arts college or an artistic university or something to do with arts and to just have a good music program in general, and or like an elite music program. 'Cause Juilliard it's tough for sure. And so yeah, and I was trying to figure it out, and I also applied for Juilliard, or I I mean I didn't finish applying it, but like I started applying it. And yeah, and just that whole time period, I'm like just grinding my ass off. While I was doing school, I would try to, because as a music kid, as a musician, and also as just a person who in general is busy, it's good to do these type of things in the morning. And also like I just don't want to think about this in the evening time type thing. And yeah, so but yeah, and also because of that, I think you guys also know this, you also have to do ACTs to get into a university, um, just because so they can know like if if you're smart enough to be in university, and if you can understand the material and stuff like that. And that's also why schools in general like really value ACTs, is so they can so they can feel confident that their students qualify to go to university, and and so they won't look dumb for them type of thing. So yeah, and I, in general, am not really a test taker, or I am, but like I have test anxiety, and I'm just really bad when it comes to exams and stuff like that. So that's another reason why, like if I want to go to university, and if I want to if I really want to if I really want to do this, then I have to take the ACTs. Like that's the only other way. And so that was a really big stressor back then for me, which I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. Because like you really don't have to worry about ACTs and SATs anymore whenever you come into university. I mean, you do have to do like exams, obviously, like final exams, and I will get into that later. But but you don't have to worry about ACTs. So sorry, sick. But yeah. I hope I'll be okay by Wednesday because I am going back Wednesday. But yeah, so like you won't have to worry about that stuff anymore when you're in university. So and yeah, and because of that, I went to some workshops to kind of figure out, how to solve and how to just in general be successful in these ACTs and SATs and just kind of prepare myself and etc. So and yeah, that really was just like my whole high school life and middle school life. And also I had a job. My mom gave me a teaching job in her in her school, which I do also live in a business as well. I do live in a music school, so I definitely know how it is to be in a practice room all day, every day. So yeah, and just like that also like really helped to go into university because I really need money. Everyone needs money, but especially if you want to get into college. So yeah, so it's something else, man. It's something else. But yeah, and so now that I'm finally in university, yeah, I mean, well, how do I say it? I mean, university, it's something. It's definitely something. I mean, it's very very cool. And I mean, like, if you want to go into university, because like no one told me like you should go to university. You should go to university. No, I've always wanted to go to university. That was just my thing. I just love education and I love schooling and I like to be with other educated people and with other people who want to learn and grow and continue in their art form or in their career. And so like for me it's just where I've always wanted to be. And I mean, yes, it is. Oh man, I have definitely had my times in this semester where I just like, yep, like, okay, why am I here again? Type thing. Like, oh man, I definitely had tough moments for sure. I've definitely had moments where, and I mean, like, not many people talk about this, which is totally understandable. It's their personal business. It's not everyone wants to say like, oh my god, I've been crying every day this past semester, But I'm just a very open book, and also like just to prepare people that like it is very tough, It is very like mentally draining. It is very, it's a lot on your psyche, and I'm just that person. Clearly, I've like literally talked like I don't know how long I've been recording, but like this long, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, just talking about like college. So like I'm definitely very very open when it comes to this type of stuff, which is kind of the whole point, like I said before, about my YouTube channel, is to be kind of learn to be more empathetic about things and to to be honest about stuff personally. So yeah, and oh man, I have definitely had tough moments, and like there are people out there that are just like, oh my god, you're a college student, so that means everything's great, and it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, college is awesome. I think personally, that's just a bias because I like it personally. I wanted to go there for a reason, but I'm not saying it's everything's amazing. You're definitely gonna have your moments. So, like with anything, of course, but especially in university. And so yeah, and I think also just like kind of thinking about it and like thinking about like, oh, because like there are people that have asked me like, oh, is college hard, is like is it like difficult, like what is it like, and I think, because I'm an undergraduate, so it's a little different when it comes to graduate. And let me explain. Undergraduate basically is when this is your very first time in college, and this is like your very first 4 years of college. And then graduate program, sometimes it's 4 years, but they also have a 2-year degree program as well. It just depends on your program, and it depends on what program you go into, and depends on your career path too. And I will also say too, every person is going to have a different type of story when it comes to university, because everyone is different and everyone has a different type of educational pathway, and everyone has a different type of career that they're going into, and etc. And so that's why also when it comes to university and college and like if you want to get into it yourself, like you do want to get a grain of salt, or like you definitely want to have a grain of salt when it comes to those type of things, because everyone is going to have a different type of story and a different type of you know opinion. And like some people, like they can be in the dorms, because I live in dorms and in a dorm because I can't drive and no one trusts me. But yeah, and like some people like personally love living in the dorms, like they really like it. Like for me, I like living in the dorms. I think it's super awesome. But then I also had a roommate, which I did have a roommate this semester. She was kind of off and on, like, well, what I mean, because she at first she was in the dorms, but she was actually saying that she kind of wanted to commute next semester, just because she did only live 15 minutes away from her home, and also she's just more like I'm like family oriented, but with her she was like very very family oriented, and like she just personally didn't like living in the dorms. So there are people that are like that too. So like I said, take everything with a grain of salt, because everyone has a different perspective and opinion and etc. And especially with non-music majors, like their schedules, they end by like 2 or 3 p.m. And they have like 5 or 4 classes. I'm like, what? Because with with music majors, especially when it comes to like I don't know about like vocal majors, but specifically with instrumental majors, and just I feel like performance majors especially, we have more courses. Like with me, and also I did want it to minor, which I will talk about that too. But yeah, and so basically with me, which next semester I even have more courses, which is great. But this semester I had like 7 or 8 courses. Like as a freshman, bro, that's a lot. Like as a first semester, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I was 15 credit hours, because every college person, they need 15 credit hours as a minimum to have their credentials up and to pass to the next semester. And yeah, so yeah, which is a lot. You would think, oh my god, that is a lot, 15 credit hours. What? Yeah, well, that's just like in a total of a week, basically, like a week's notice, if that makes sense. So yeah, so it's a lot. And I mean, with some other people too, because I've definitely met a couple of double majors, which is also a thing too. They one of them I think had like 20 like hours. Like he had 10 courses and he had like 20 hours. I don't know about the other double major that I met, but I know for him especially. So it's, yeah, like everyone's different and all that sorts of things. And also, if you do want to be a double major, it's more expensive because you're paying for 2 departments type thing. So that's another thing. So, and it's just harder than just having a major and minor type thing. And yeah, and so now how about my minor? So, because I'm a BA, and I, and okay, wait a second. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Sorry, there's been so much going on. And my thought process is going everywhere. I'm like, okay, sorry. So I said I wanted to give some advice. Yeah. So the advice that I wanted to give before I started jumping the gun. Sorry, I feel like I can talk forever about this topic. So much has happened. But basically, oh my god, dude, I lost my train of thought. Oh no. Well, like the best advice that I can give, and kind of just going back to, you know, kind of going back to, what I'm saying, to about grain of salt type of thing, is like there are some courses, because like everyone has their pros and cons, and so like there are definitely some courses where it's like it's not that difficult, like it's more tedious than it's really difficult, or there are courses that are quite easy and you're just like, oh, I can do this, this is awesome. And then there are some courses where it's like, oh my god, shut up. So it just really depends on your skills, and it depends on like your understanding of the subject. Like for me, my writing course, for example, I had Introduction to College Writing. That was very easy. Like I was able to get those assignments done as quickly as possible, because like for me, I'm a very wordy person. Like I obviously, clearly, if you guys are watching this, which if you've watched this far, seriously, I feel so proud. But yeah, like for me, I'm very good when it comes to words and comes to just like writing and just like, you know, putting my thoughts on a piece of paper. Well, because this upcoming semester I have to do quantitative literacy, which is a math class, and it's kind of, and okay, I'll explain what quantitative literacy is. Quantitative literacy is basically, um, it, quantitative literacy is basically a math course that's talking about like practical math and like talking about finances and etc. Or that's what I overhear, and it's mostly for like art majors or artistic majors, because music is very mathematical and very numerical, and like you do actually have to count a lot of the times when you look at a piece of music. So that is also another reason why we do have to take math courses. Sorry, sick. But yeah, so that's another thing. And for that course, I'm a little scared because I'm not a very mathematical person. And I really don't like to count. So like for me, and also just my brain just does not compute numbers. Like I just in general don't understand like in rhythm, etc. Like just I really just don't like think that way. Like I'm not a very like I'm a logical person, but I'm not a very like mathematical person. I'm more when it comes to logicity, I'm more wordy, if that makes sense. So for me, it's definitely harder, but you know, it's my career path, so I have to do it. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. It's like you really have to see what. I mean, it just really depends on the courses and like what you're good at and what you're bad at. And if you're bad at it, then work on it as much as you can. It's like, okay, these courses, it's easy peasy. Okay, I got this. And then and because of that, start with the courses that it's harder with, so you can get those assignments done faster, and then do those easier courses to end off like your assignments or the assignments that you have to do, just because what I think personally is you should start off with something that you're struggling with, so you can work on it and get better at it, and then do the easy stuff. That's just like some fun stuff for your brain to like be like, oh, I finally did it, type of thing. I swear it helps. And also another thing too is time management. Time management is so important, because like you just have so much going on, and you have a lot of classes and things like that. And like, you know, if you really think about it, it's hard to do everything in 24 hours because there's so much to do. And also, college is more, like compared to high school, college is more quality over quantity, when high school is more quantity over quality. And so you may think, oh, I don't have that many courses, or, oh, I don't have that many things. But in reality, if you think about it, you do actually have a lot that you need to do. It's just because it's more quality over quantity, that's why it doesn't seem a lot time-wise, but like mentally and making it the best that you can, it is a lot. So that's also why, like, really, make sure that, if, that, like, with me, for example, I'm like, and sometimes there are times when it can get kind of toxic where you're just like, should I eat or should I practice, But, and that's also another thing is, like, for me, food is a reward, and food is something to, like, let your body know, like, yes, we're here, and maybe that's a little bit toxic, but that's just how I am. And yeah, and so just try to figure out your schedule and try to figure out, you know, like if something does happen, or the class cancels, or if something, is not, you know, or if you have time, do an assignment, do homework, eat, So just like always be, I think the real thing is always be flexible, and also always be, you know, prepared for the unpredictability, or, be prepared to, be able to do things that you may not be doing at that time, or, so, and I think that's the best type of thing too. So, and also there are definitely people who, like, as a musician, people who practice at night, or people who practice in the morning, and like, if I get to pick, I would rather practice in the morning or afternoon, because I don't know, I don't really like to practice too late, but I also don't want to practice so early, just because my brain doesn't compute that way. And also it just makes me more motivated, especially on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because Tuesdays and Thursdays is more like my musical days, or more when I'm in my department the most. So yeah. Oh, and also, so for my minor, now I'm finally getting to my minor. So my minor is actually linguistics. And so why did I choose linguistics? Well, basically, I'm a BA, and so I have to pick something that is. But yeah, so I have to. But yeah, sorry. This is such a long video that I have to keep pausing, and adding more measures, or adding more to the time frame. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm a linguistics major. Yeah, and BA, so I have to have something that's not artistic. Which, going into going into college, I was hoping to, be only a musician and all that type of stuff. But because I signed myself up as a BA, and also I just in general, like, didn't only want to do music. Like, obviously I do want to do that as my main, but I also did wanted to do something that could, like, counteract that, because, like, being a musician, like, everyone thinks, like, oh my god, it's not a consistent job, oh my god, you're not gonna make as much money. Well, to be honest, as a musician, you do make a lot of money. Well, okay, let me say this. It depends on your skill set. Like, it depends, like, how good you are. Like, if you're really, really good, yeah, you're gonna make the bucks. But if you're not as good, or as if you're average, then you'll make some, It really just depends on your skill set, really. But usually, and I do want to, get to that excellence, like, you will make a lot. But I will also agree that it's not very consistent, especially if you're a performance major. Like, if you're an ed major, which actually in my university, my music department, our music department is actually considered an ed, like, department, meaning, like, it's pretty popular when it comes to the teaching majors, but just what ed is, it's teaching education. So that's why there's so many teaching majors. And so yeah, like, with teaching, it's definitely a lot. It's a bit more of a consistent profession. But if you're just solely doing performance, no, it's definitely not consistent at all. And so that's another reason why it is good to have a consistent profession. Or, like, it's good to have two professions, so you can have your dream profession, your inconsistent profession, quote unquote, and then your other profession, which is still very cool too, but it still can kind of go along with that profession, because, money is essential in this world, and, like, it's good to just have consistency with the inconsistent, if that makes sense. And also, I just really like languages, and like I said before in my other video, I think in my New Year's Eve video, but I am Russian American, and so I've been around, like, foreigners my whole life, and, I've been around, like, different cultures, and I've had friends with different cultural backgrounds, and, known people, and have professors and teachers that, have different cultural backgrounds because I live in America and that's just kind of a thing here, which is super cool, by the way. And yeah, and so like for me, I just like, and I love learning languages too. Like I think learning languages is so cool and it's so fun and it really just makes your brain, work and think and just do things that the brain wouldn't usually do, right? And yeah, and it's just it like I just love it, and it's kind of also kind of goes. I mean, I feel like everything that I do always has like one purpose. And what I mean by is like, even though music and linguistics are two different things, they're still very similar in the focus of, first of all, they're both talking about sound. Yes, maybe they're talking about in different type of sound forms, because like in music, it's more you're just producing sound, or you're more just kind of like you're more using like how do you say it, nonverbal sounds, while with linguistics it's more about it's more about it's a profession about people, and it's a profession about how a person speaks, and that's more considered verbal sounds. So yes, it is different in that context, but it's still talking about sounds. It's still talking about you know like how a sound can transfer to another person, and how communication can be so effective, which it is so effective. I mean, that's why YouTube exists, that's why there are videos, that is why, there's so much information, is because it's all by a person communicating. And I think that is so important, and also just kind of like my whole purpose in life is, to help people and to, communicate to people, and to use that communication for positive reinforcement, and to use it for positive connections, and to use it in a way where it's just it helps another person, because communication is how we were created, if you really think about it, and it's just, I don't know, like, I think it's just so important, and for people not to talk about it, I think it's such a waste, and yeah, and I just, in general, think it's such a cool profession, and not many people also have that profession, which is stupid, in my opinion. So yeah, and I did world languages, and I just found it super interesting, and I was just like sitting in the classroom just like, oh my god. I was like 30 out. I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool, I'm like, just because it was technically supposed to be my humanities class, but I like, nope, this is my minor now. this is what, because humanities, for musicians, because as a musician we need a humanities, like, we need a language class, I think that's right, and we also need a humanities class, because as a musician and as an artist, our whole profession is about people, and about portraying communication slash portraying like that type of thing to other people, and because of that we need classes, and also like, geez, my brain right now, I can't think what I'm trying to say. You know, we also have to like publish ourselves, or like, what's a good word, try to, because like it's a very public profession, and we have to like, yeah, there you go, we have to like advertise ourselves, and etc. And how to advertise is by speaking well, and because of that, languages, and we have to connect to people, and because of that, humanities, type thing. And also it was a very humanitarian profession as well, same with linguistics, so it just kind of works well together. And also I've noticed I'm also a very humanitarian type of person, and I'm just a very like I just I don't know. I just am like I just see myself more as a humanitarian and see myself as, you know, social justice and, you know, all those type of things. Like, oh my god, seriously, I could talk about that forever, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. Sorry. But so then that's why I chose that minor, and also why I picked that minor is because, like, you know, if I have to minor, then I should minor into something that I like, and that I get to be happy of doing it, you know, because I don't want a minor that I feel miserable about, and I'm like, why did I minor in it, you know? So, and because I'm a minor, I don't have as many classes as my major, so that's nice, but because of that, I do have more hours. So I have more than 15 hours, so yeah, I have 17 hours. I'm supposed to have 18 hours, but I have 17 because I kind of failed. Okay, I kind of failed a harmony course, and because of that, I have to retake that as a sophomore, and so because of that, I have to take another core course, and that's why that's 17. That's another topic for another day. But hey, I almost, bro, like I almost. Sorry, this is a long video, so I'm probably gonna wrap up soon. But seriously, I freaking almost passed the semester, but nope, just that course. Anyway, but yeah, that's another time for another day. But yeah, so also I'm just so embarrassed to say that I didn't. Well, anyway, as a musician, and if there's other musicians that are watching, you know what that course is. And you're just like, Lisa, what is wrong with you? I know. But yeah, so anyway, but that is kind of and finals, yeah. And so because and okay, and so how I know I didn't pass is because the finals is basically just this whole week of exams. So like you don't have okay, so how UCA worked. So for freshmen specifically for UCA, the first week was just kind of like getting to know the campus and like going to these different events and like getting used to how campus life is type thing, and it was really fun. I didn't go to all of it because it was a lot, but it was really fun. But then the finals was just basically this whole week of exams, and so there's no classes on the exams. All the classes are before finals exam or like the last classes, and then finals exams is just basically every day are your different exams, and you have to, you know, study for it, prepare for it, you know, type of thing. So that was really what all finals exams was, and you know, obviously it's nerve-wracking because you want to pass, and afterward they will give you like your grades and, you know, if you pass, if you didn't, and you know, and then I also had a writing exam, but that was like more of an online exam, which actually universities are kind of getting into because of COVID. It kind of like there are some classes where, you know, obviously you're doing it physically, but then there are classes where you do it online, and then there are classes like my writing exam where 2 days we did a physical and then 1 day like you had to do like this assignment or like it was online. So that was actually really interesting. I'm like, I already know, obviously, like I said before this video or earlier this video, I kind of know how to use Blackboard and all that stuff. So for me, that's not too weird, but it was just weird to do online in college. So that was definitely an interesting feeling, but yeah, so anyway, I have to get going because people want me, and yeah, my family's fun. But yeah, and also I feel like I've been talking way too long, so sorry. And my first video that I made or was trying to finish making it is also gonna be like an hour or so long. So be prepared for 2 long videos, okay, guys? So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, but that is what's up. And so then whenever I make my next video about how it is being a freshman in the second semester of university, I will make that, and you guys will listen to it, and I hope you'll enjoy it, and hope you enjoy this video. And yeah, so I hope that was interesting, I hope that was fascinating, hope that helped kind of understand college more, or if you guys want to get into college. And so yeah, see you guys in another video. Hope that helps. Yeah, see you in another video. Bye.